Welcome back, Super Robot fans. Welcome back, my archivists. How are you all doing today? We are a bit in the middle of things as I'm trying to not die to all of these battleships that I think I probably am actually not really supposed to fight, but we'll see. Right, where were we? We definitely experienced some amount of failure. I was a bit sloppy with my separations up here, and right, we lost the other part of the Super Gundam. And what else? Did we lose someone down here, or was it just really close? It may have been just really dire there for a second. I guess, oh, right. The trouble we were having was that we can't really be in range to make significant progress on any of these battleships without also being in range of these battleships at the same time. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so we kind of want to scoot over and deal with like this contingent right now as we wait for them across to get transformed. What turn? I think we have 5 turns left until it transforms, something like that. We definitely have a number of turns to wait until it's able to transform for us, and I'm sort of like banking on that being mechanically significant to breaking through some of these enemies' barrier, or like not barriers. They just have, they're such a hunkin' massive big ball of stats comparatively. Before I started recording this, I was trying to think of like a small test I could run. I said this a couple of times, how much I feel like it bogs down videos to try and do the math. But I need to have some barometer to assess how significant that 2K is comparatively. Because 2000 sounds like a lot, but is it? I don't know. Evidently in this case it is. But definitely for surezies, having the HP obscured the way that it is I think just such a bad call. I am very glad that they moved away from that formula in the future. I suspect it is because of mechanical limitations, not actually because of... That seems to be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that can be a next turn thing, see, because we're not doing this in this turn. And then we'll block whatever attack we get. I suspect it's more of a hardware issue, so I recognize that and don't want to complain too much because I'm just glad these exist at any capacity. But the fact that I still can't estimate how much the HP this has, at this point I theoretically should know. I have killed them, but also it's been a minute since I've recorded. But also just this one example is just that. It is but one example. It is not, the totality of the experience, right? We're gonna run into more battleships that I don't know of. I mean, even to that point, I don't even know what the boss battle. I don't know what the boss has for HP, and that's certainly not insignificant in trying to decide whether or not we would want to engage really hard. Yeah, so let's 1200 is about what the more tanky side of our reels look like. Some of our reels have in the triple digits, but it's definitely less than, right? It's considerably less than the Grungust. It's definitely less than the Donkugar, but it's right. So the Methus, right? The Methus is not a defensive unit in any fashion, and the Valkyries are so far have seemed pretty they seem pretty susceptible to a stiff breeze, so that's vaguely helpful. And the damage formula is such that the only other thing that matters for like identifying enemy damage is enemy morale. So, oh man, we also keep getting so many misses. There are so many misses, which is fine. Like I need to figure out how to account for that better. But our accuracy is pretty atrocious. I do remember this out of my time with the earlier games also, that one of the ways that the supers were balanced was just like not being able to hit things. It's one of the reasons I did not use the Mazinger a lot in my complete Bucks playthroughs, because he needed actually factually every attack a bullseye in order to have a semblance of maybe landing a hit. It was pretty flippin' rough. Okay, we could map. I don't think we've used the map attack yet. Actually, yeah, we have not. I can't remember how it works. I think it does just get this area around here. I don't think we get to choose a space after that. So that ain't gonna cut it. But we definitely played a lot of the opening to this wrong. I think I talked about this at the end of last time too, but we really should have... I can't estimate these accuracies, can I? No, I can from here. Hold on, let's see if we can switch to this for a minute, check it. No, I think we're gonna be too far away. Yeah. Okay. I guess we will. Oh, we've got a lot of SP left on him. Never mind. I feel comfortable using a focus. It might be a bit of a waste, but okay. And then, had I not divided my attacks the way that I did, we could have cleared out one or two more of these. I just don't feel like the Methus can comfortably go in. We'll bring it back to heal the Gundam Mark II. But yeah, no, I definitely see some mistakes that I've made. One of them is a mistake because I just genuinely didn't realize I wasn't doing it. You gotta stop sending more units. Ah! I really did think I had a resupplier. It just, I think when these missions are at their easiest, a resupplier is a waste. When these missions are at their hardest, a resupplier is mandatory. And we need to be fielding one every single mission. Depending on how long this video is, I have no idea how long. Nope, stop. I have no idea how long this mission's going to be. I did not record the whole thing. I am like recording this long after the fact. So depending on how long this mission is, we're gonna find a resupplier to hard commit to. And I think just like saying it out loud is theoretically hopefully going to help me remember that we're making that choice. I suspect it's going to be the core booster because the core booster has performed pretty well, but I would like to, I guess our choices are sort of weighing up who we can put in the Bluger, right? Because I know it doesn't have both this time, but I'm pretty sure the thing that it gets to keep is resupply and not repair. As much as I was complaining about accuracy a minute ago, we sure are landing a lot of like 60 and 70% right now. So it is. I do hear it. I do see it going back the other side too. At least these little guys are. I know Cam told me what they were called, but I don't remember. I can't. Oh, okay. We've got a few. I feel like I would not have ended with 3 left, but that's fine. And maybe the time is not counted exactly as it sounds like it should be, but yeah, we definitely need to have a resupplier with us at all times. Oh yeah, I think we just need to check what the Bluger's who in the Bluger can get what spirits. There might be better resuppliers that we just like haven't gotten to yet, but I don't think we're gonna end up using boss. I suspect also he's just going to have a hard time being relevant because of the, like, for story reasons. They did say that he needed to like space proof his unit because the boss Borat just like can't function in space, right? So I imagine he's not going to be a good choice. And just like the utility of being able to like fly over terrain when we actually like land, and the like extra, not for the extra movement on the more like jet-like units is definitely going to help. What else? I assume this mission was also going to be vastly shorter. I really underestimated how much damage it was going to take to kill these. So I've also been sort of spending SP like mad, and that has not been a good choice. I absolutely should have saved them rather than trying to like cash it in on Valors really quickly. And that's definitely biting me. But okay. But like we need so many turns. We need so many turns to kill these things. Maybe this is like going to be a needlessly short video because our actual end objective is just having the is just having the Macross transform, right? Like the fact that the objective is also defend Macross. I don't want to be too much of a grouch because it is nice that this game is finally showing its teeth, that we are, you know, actually there are real life consequences for me not planning well, and I am very happy for that. So like I don't want to mistake that, right? But there is, like, undeniably there's a lot of ambiguity going on. So it's really hard to say, like, you know, like we moved Judo out of the way, but like we don't need to know like every walk-on reinforcement, right? But we moved Judo out of the way, and he absolutely could have stayed, or he could have moved into a different position in order to like bait one of the attacks from these things. Like we could have set that up in that way, or like we wouldn't have lost the Super Gundam also to, you know, give ourselves at least like one other action. Give ourselves at least one other action. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, the balancing of this game is just wild to me. The like turn economy from some maps is non-existent. You can spend your turns very sloppily, and it doesn't actually matter who is taking what. How much HP do these have? 46,000. Okay. Yeah, no wonder it's taking absolutely forever. Sure, that's fine. Yeah. I don't even know if we're gonna kill it this time. So we don't have that left anymore. Yeah, we could theoretically Valor with Ryusei, but I would rather have some focus or some flashes. That crit might do it. I guess we also shouldn't. I didn't think that through. I wanted to think more this time. I swore to myself I would, but that should not have. This probably shouldn't go to Ingram in the event that we don't actually get to keep him. I don't think we're gonna get to keep him. That's fine. Okay. Great, another one of those stupid battleships down. Yeah, why we got 12,000 from them. I don't think anything about like Psychic gives you extra cash, and he doesn't have an ace bonus, right? I think it should show up on that screen. How many? No, pilot. He has only 17 kills. Yeah, he doesn't have an ace bonus. So like it's like an ace bonus is producing extra cash. Weird. But yeah, no, the ambiguity of so many of these things is making it really hard to plan for anything. I'll ask again, only because I didn't actually like hear anyone's answer. But maybe the reason I didn't hear anyone's answer is because it'll be really obvious once we actually see the end of it. But I want to know how the people tackled this. If they just sort of ignored all of these, if they ignored everything down here, and just like let these things come in. Oh man, the AI for the I can't remember what these things' names are. These little like these bipedal walkers is so strange to me. Great, we will transform in 1 turn. The AI for these things, the Rigado, the rear guards, are so strange to me. I don't understand it. They like have post-movement attacks, have targets in range, just don't choose to like do anything with them. It's so weird. You know what? We'll spend energy. What the heck? That didn't even do that much more damage. But I in the event that we are in fact going to end once we hit the Macross transformation, let's at least not waste what we have going on here. These have been like harder than most of the bosses we've had to face so far up to this point. Yeah, maybe this is the lunatic version for this. That like, I'm really surprised to learn that this game has a New Game Plus mode. I did not think it was going to. And maybe what I'm doing is trying to engage with the New Game Plus mode on a New Game save file that I don't have like all the extra cash built up from Endgame, you know. Yeah, no, he also got 12,000. So like, clearly the expert points are giving us something beyond just taking resources away. Based on how I know the programming of R worked, and I know these are just like vaguely not like they're not even vaguely similar by any stretch of the imagination, but I could see it as a like shared programming understanding to make development easier. That I would not be surprised if enemies were like flagged as a like internal to the code, if they were flagged as boss or grunt. There for sure were some there for sure were some buttons in like debug menus in the handheld games that let you like remove all the grunts remove all of the grunts on maps, and like that clearly has to be flagged in some way that like bosses are significant or something. If you're familiar with like the inner workings of Final Fantasy games, what would be marked as a heavy character, and maybe these are, and I'm just not seeing it. I wanted to use... We probably didn't need that much damage to kill, but it was the only one that, like, kept her from needing to, like, potentially risk taking a hit. This is 76, this is 72, and 60. Okay, I thought for a second... I guess I was looking at the Nigado's accuracy on us. I thought for a second that it jumped numbers in a way that was not what I would have expected. Also, that was a bad target, because... 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that Ingram could have made that attack. But we can still make this one. Yeah. They are kind of fodder at this point because of how much we've stacked up our morale. It's amazing how much more of a difference morale makes in this game. Still, like I've said it a couple of times, but I am still flabbergasted at how much more significant it is. Who did not go? Oh yeah, Thaw did not. Is anybody hurt over here? Someone is. It's. Oh, you know what? There's only. Okay, and there's only one enemy. She does not have any defensive property. Okay, we can just block. The battleship, the enemy battleship seems like it is sort of gunning it for them across. So, but yeah, definitely for sure, a strat that seems available to us is to like force a couple of pilots levels up really fast by putting them into a repair bot and then just like letting them heal our like massively over leveled cast to like quick jump into some spirits. I don't think there's a reason. I don't think that's a good reason to not use them in the first place, but there could be. I could see a world where we could like really hone down early game, and we could use like primarily combat units in early game, like all the ones we know we are going to use for like in late game also. And then we just like don't have slots for healers. And then once everyone is already at a high level, we can sort of power through training our healers once we get to sort of this stage of the game, you know. Those battleships are also walk-on reinforcements. Is that the I'm trying to use the Fire Emblem term. There's a language used around reinforcements that's like, oh no, sorry, not walk-on, ambush reinforcements. Those are ambush reinforcements that they like moved as soon as they got their turn. Sick. The Macross, it's changed. Oh, okay, it's moving somewhere. Is it gonna punch the battleship to death? Arm attack. Please be cool. Thank goodness that they force animations on this. I'm gonna be so disappointed if they didn't. I feel like I'm missing an asset in the background of that. That was weird. Amudo. Is that not arm? Is it arm-do? I feel like the word do is at the end of martial arts stuff. What could do mean? Amdo. I'll look it up later. It's fine. This is what I'm talking about, though. These battleships are so tanky they can't even get a boss kill. Okay. I think this was still fine where we stopped where we were. We've already been in here. We've already been in here like 20-ish minutes, and I don't know how long the text at the end is going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's a couple paragraphs. So I think this might just be like a 45-minute episode, and it's going to be a lot of story. So I'm going to go read up on what's happening, and I will catch back up with you in a minute. Ooh, I for sure missed a part of the text that was happening during the cutscene. So the reason we initiated what my translation is calling the armed, but I think I've seen online as ARMD capital. So I have a sneaky suspicion I'm going to get that corrected for me pretty shortly. Thank you in advance. But the attack was initiated because the main guns of the Macross were not functioning. This thing seems like a bucket of rust. Why does nothing work on this? Is that like always going to happen in the shows? I don't hate it. It's very funny. It's just like super non-functioning. It's so funny. But the main guns were not working, so they applied like the lasers to the front of where the hand was. They sort of concentrated all of the energy there and then just punched them with it because they couldn't fire them. Which I think is an incredible way to justify the like supercharged energy punch kind of deal. The scene we just saw, which is why I'm pausing here because I want to make sure we're like, I got to get better about this, sort of like keeping pace with what we're talking about in the scene we're showing, was the Wing Boys, who had sort of now, I seems like they've defected, maybe. They are, we encountered a couple of them. I think it was Hero and Troa, not last mission, maybe the mission before, who like popped up for a very limited amount of time. And then we're like doing something sneaky about them across. And it seems like they've all infiltrated because they talked about how their units kind of got busted up from the sudden motion they weren't prepared for. Which, right, there's just like people inside this thing. Imagine your quarters are just in the arm when it swings. It's so funny. But they're gonna start sort of like repairing things as they sneak around and gather intel. And who was that was meeting up with Wu Fei? No, it's not in this paragraph. It is, no, Duo's the one that's fixing things. Hero sort of ignores them. Oh, sorry. Right. Katra is going to find both Troa and Wu Fei. I thought Troa was in that scene, but this is also why I like need to be on pace with the scenes better. That Troa and Wu Fei were separate and going to do some sneaking on their own too. Which, yeah, I guess Troa is a little bit on his own. He is much less unified with the group than I may be remembering. But no, that's this scene. Our primary staff is going to do some like damage control assessment reports, and the Macross is dead in the water again. But not hopelessly so. At the very least, it's not moving, but like life support for the city block is coming back up pretty quickly. So things are stable, just it's a good thing the enemy's left after the end of that battle, you know? That said, as they're trying to like send distress contact out, their fold is the word. Sorry, I'll learn it eventually. Their fold transmissions are being jammed by someone, which is not possible. Like, that technology is so complicated, it's not possible to do unless someone was also equally using fold transmissions or a like very similar comparable technology. And we do know one battleship that we saw that is equivalent to the fold technology. If you remember all the way back to episode 1, the Excellion from Gunbuster is a few select individuals know that it is presently out in space, and it sure seems like it fits the bill for something that can do that. So maybe that is if it's not the one that's jamming the signals, maybe there's something left on it. Maybe it's still functioning as its maybe its crew is still functioning, or maybe if not, there is something that's left on it that could solve this problem if it itself is not the source of the jamming. Sorry, I'm struggling because I'm rewatching Gunbuster right now to like make sure I'm caught up on the plot with this, and I'm very excited how this is getting integrated. This is comparable in my mind to what I've praised W for doing in its integration. I am very pleased with how it's being used, and I'm like trying really hard not to like say it too much, because I want to give the thing room to breathe, and also I don't want to spoil Gunbuster if you haven't watched it yet. But it's only 6 episodes. It's probably worth your while. Probably go check that out. I think it's going to be coming up recently. It's rare for me to actually get to talk about a show that I know, so I'm very happy. And then to follow up on how our scenario started, Hikaru and Minmay are still lost in the ship, and they figure at this point that maybe the worst has come to pass, and they might actually be stuck to the point of not being able to get any help. I wonder in what context they're actually stuck like that, but maybe it's like the nature of how the ship transforms or something. And the two of them are being like quite morbid about what's going to happen to them, but they also ask each other what what was the one thing that they wanted to do, and like, ugh, gag. I'm so tired of the anime waifuification of characters. But Minmay, the thing Minmay wants to be the most is a wife. Oh, isn't it so charming? No, please love your partners. Please like want to share community with people. But girl, you are so talented. Dream of things. She's like famous star and famous actress. Like, please have aspirations about like how you want to relate to people. But if the only thing you can do is dream about that you are somebody else's something, something unhealthy's going on. I really love her music, which is such a shame. I'm really disappointed that they've like really given her waifu energy. But fortunately, we're saved from more of my diatribes by Duo smashing a hole through the wall. What's the like? There's gotta be a silly non-romantic version of a meet cute, but Duo comes blowing up a hole. Duo comes in through a blown up hole in the wall, runs into Hikaru and Minmay, trying to get away from Masaki, who's been chasing him around. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry for interrupting. Just don't mention that you met me. And like, please get the green-haired guy off my back. I think he's really bad at directions. And I do love Duo. I love his personality so much that even while he's like trying to undergo this like investigation mission, that he's still worried about like, I'm pretty sure there was an amount of connection. Actually, maybe that's not true. Maybe the times where Duo was around, Masaki wasn't. But he does still have this sort of like concerned heart of gold a little bit for, you know, for a point he's that's struggling. And then we wrap up with some sort of like generic kind of fluff to get us into the next scene. That Roy is surprised that Hikaru is still alive, that he describes him as being cockroach-like because he can live through anything. Minmay is pleased by seeing the city inside Macross after she had like, I guess she was on. I don't actually know if she was only living on the island or she flew to the island recently, but she is impressed by how the city in Macross works, which I guess everyone would be. I was like trying to think about like why would she be, but I guess just anyone would be because giant flying robot space battleship Noah's Ark kind of energy is like going to be impressive to anybody. So never mind, forget that. And Roy tries to settle in on this moment and offers to show her around the ship. I'm not sure who these characters end up with. Like, obviously, we are gunning really hard to theoretically pair Minmay and Roy, or Minmay and Hikaru. But I don't know. And well, I guess we can find that out later. But that is the mission. So I don't know where that leaves us. I'm going to try and figure it out right now. But like, I guess depending on things, maybe I'm going to say goodbye to you all here already. I know I have some money to spend. I want to go do some math to figure out how we should be doing this the best, to try to sort of mitigate a lot of the downsides from last time. I want to figure out who our resupplier pilot is. I know I said I wasn't going to look up stuff about characters, but this one time I'll look up some stuff about some characters. I'm like willing to dabble in a little bit. I think like breaking the rules every so often is, you know, to the benefit of like improving the content. Just having the rules, it makes it more clear when I need to break them rather than doing so in a way that is like not letting me explore the game as it wants to be, you know? So I want to go do that. And depending on how short this gets edited down to, I did have to take some pauses that I like can't measure as easily on my timer. If this gets tacked onto the next episode, depending on how short that one it would be, therefore is now not. Yeah, this might get tacked onto the next mission. We will see. So it's gonna be weird no matter what. So, but like, if this is the end, thank you all so much for watching. If not, I still appreciate you being here. I guess maybe this is the halfway point. Regardless, I appreciate you taking time to watch this video and for being with me as I'm like trying to figure out how to like unpack these games and like figure out what I want the pre-recorded stuff to look like. So I enjoyed my time. I hope you did too. I'll see you at some point, if not in a couple seconds on Friday. Thanks again. Bye, maybe. welcome back. Howdy. Sorry if this opening is awkward. I don't know if we're going to be combining this with the previous episode or not. So we're here. I'm still Austin. Hi. Turns out the math was a lot easier than I thought it was. Upgrading a lot of these units just does not, nope, that's not the right screen, does not feel worth it to try and improve their accuracy. So the best I can tell is mobility is contributing not actually 1-to-1. It is contributing, every point of mobility we get is contributing at best an amount less than 1 that is also greater than half. And at worst, it is contributing less than half. So this isn't even giving us 5 points of accuracy. And we were short like 50, so we would need to go up to 130, which is the maximum. So, and that's to like maybe get full accuracy on enemies we were already fighting. I think it's just better to be a little bit more reserved about spending our valors and make sure we just save them for things like bullseyes. And like, not just for the Voltes, like that's true for everybody. So instead, I still maintain I really like Max. So I just maxed out his mobility because he did not have perfect hit and avoid. So that is a thing we can like, that's something we can mitigate on him because scaling seems better with A, his size, and B, the like starting value is his base stats are enough that the increase is actually going to be worth it. We can actually like take that over the limit. And he has a focus still if need be. I also kind of want to hedge a little bit that I feel like I've seen other Valkyries at other times, so maybe we can also sort of like hope to transfer those points, maybe? I don't know. As far as pilots go, I have 2 thoughts, and I'm very glad I looked stuff up. I think it was well worth our while. So what we're actually going to do is, and this was not my first choice, but we're going to do it in first order because let's be organized here. Where is the boy? This is also switching. I wanted to look at both of them because there's an important component to this character that's missing if we're just looking at switching pilots. Uso is absolutely going to be our choice for the core fighter. I looked at the Bluegrain. We'll talk about the Bluegrain in a little bit. And then I was arrowing through a lot of the options for the core fighter. I was sort of weighing their spirits. And there's definitely some characters with good spirits. There's also double move in this game, which I'm not disappointed that I found out through Akarasu, because that's sort of what I had assumed not the star, but the like emoticon smiley face over top of what I think is a W. Like Japan loves using the letter W for double, so I think that's supposed to be double move. And usually Gundam pilots have they have an easier time of getting to their double move. I think it's 250. I think it's probably the number's like about 250 for reaction. And so I was looking originally at the Gundam pilots and thinking that probably going to be one of the main characters that we could like have Camille be our target, and then for the purposes of eventually training him such that he gets to be a full combat unit once he gets the double move. And that could still be true, but the fact that Uso has Haro and a second pool of spirits, I think, just makes him far and away the best candidate. Like, even if we don't get to use the spirits on Haru a lot, it's just a second pool of spirits. So, like, that's going to be clearly better. And Uso is only 2 levels behind in getting access to his double move compared to the rest of the boys, and has, like, roughly comparable stats, right? Things are not exactly the same, but they're scaled roughly the same. And I didn't, like, really spend a lot of time looking at, like, his new type level compared to everybody else's, or like what new, because I don't actually know what new type actually does, and whether or not that equation is correct, because like Akarasu has down that psychic provides stats, or no, sorry, not psychic, or a battler provides stats even when it doesn't. So, you know, who's to actually say how relevant that is? But I think Uso's our choice, and then after that, depending on what level actual end game looks like, because if Uso's going to double move at like 50, like mid 50s, no one's even close to 50s yet. I don't actually know how, like, I don't know what level we're going to be by the end of the game. So I am of 2 minds. We either get Uso to a double move and then turn him into a combat unit and let him sort of like fill out the rest of the team when we get to the end game. Or we can just sort of start churning through really like churning through Gundam pilots by using the core booster and like jumping people's levels up like really far in advance. And if we see that we're already sort of approaching the ability to do so, we could like preempt that before Uso actually gets there. With doing this with repair bots too. But if not that, if we get Uso to if we get him on level, and that's close to the end of the game, I think we just switch over to the Blue Girl with Rei, largely because I want to try one of her spirits, because I've never seen a spirit like this before. Her last spirit is Revive, which I think just like lets like we could just like bring a character back. I wonder how many times we could use that, but I could do some really stupid things. We could do some really stupid things if we just like let a character die and then have them come back in the future because like a spirit can just like restore them. I foresee a lot of I just re-explain what the spirit did, but I foresee a lot of ways we could abuse that, but I don't want to get my hopes up too much until we actually see it in action. So I think that's how the plan's gonna go roughly. I miss doing this little sort of interlude. We gotta do these some more. But with that, let's hop into the story. Ooh, I recognize this bridge. This man's name is Tashiro. He is the captain of the Excellion, and he is not that man. Hold on, where's... Right? That's surely not Ota. No, okay. There he is. The Kochi, is that? I don't remember now. I was literally just watching this. His name's Ota, though. These two are the, like, adult supervisors of Gunbuster. And they are on the Excellion at present, the battleship we just referenced last mission. And they are doing some assessments on the state of on the state of their battleship and the state of their like attempts to attack the space monsters, or the space terrible monster crowd, which is so fun. It's so Japanese. So Ota is the only survivor from another battleship that was attempting to attack them. So he has a like very personal relationship to this like war against aliens, and we are returning to these plot points of like information being a very precious resource, and that making the person who has it sort of a like MVP, a VIP, or VIP maybe is more accurate, in amongst the communities where they could like have power. So I don't. We'll see how this plays out. We'll see how this plays out later in game, but in universe, right in this universe right now, the Arrogators, the alien technology that, like the alien force that we have seen represented as the end-all be-all threat for most of our community, for most of the groups we've been part of. I guess I don't actually remember if the Yoma Empire was compared against it unfavorably, but largely speaking, whenever we've had a villain, they have then gotten compared against the Arrogators by some measure, and they have come up short. That the Arrogators seem like they are the greatest of threats for us. But Ota is, after having like actually seen them, is assuring everyone that the space monsters are vastly more scary if they're being allowed, if they're allowed to go unchecked. And one of the reasons they're trying to do their damage assessment right now is the like perimeter that the battleships are making. I also keep saying battleship. They are on the battleship, the Excellion, but there is a fleet of battleships, and they are presently fighting against the Arrogators, like as we speak. Which, no, I guess we did fight the space monster. Did we fight the Arrogators? I actually don't remember which units I don't remember what monsters we fought at the beginning of the game. I think we may have fought the actual Gunbuster enemies. But regardless, they are fighting the Arrogators right now. And someone knows, and it feels like it's said in a way that's maybe like personally being Zoldark, and he opened the game prophesying that there was going to be a calamity that was coming to the world, that people needed to be prepared, and if they were not trying to like deal with or relate to this alien technology, then they probably should expect like Cataclysm to approach them very shortly. Then we're going to hop somewhat in the middle of the Gunbuster plot. I guess that scene on the bridge was kind of mirroring a Gunbuster element too, but we have like much more directly pulled from the show. I think it's episode 3, where Noriko she's the protagonist. She's doing some training in her unit to try to, better support her team. She is paired up with this woman, Kazumi, and feels like she is letting her down because she is sort of this like bumbling, incompetent fool of a pilot. And she really needs to work hard to make sure she's bringing up her end of the partnership. And while she's like doing maintenance on her RX-7, Kazumi and Ota are talking, and Ota believes in Noriko. He hand selected her despite the fact that her like present aptitudes are not good. He sees the potential in her. The captain of the ship, the Luxion, that he was the survivor of, that I mentioned before, that captain is Noriko's father. So there might be some like vested interest in, he might know some things about her that we don't necessarily know as the audience at this point. So he is sort of gunning to make these two women the like most unstoppable duo. He said, up to this point in the show, he said that they qualified for the Gunbuster, which I feel like sort of, if you don't know the show, it's in the title, so like that's something significant somehow. But Noriko still needs a lot of work in order to make that happen. But Kazumi, it's very hard to tell. Kazumi seems very sweet, but it's very hard to tell at this point whether she wants to dissolve their partnership because she doesn't think Noriko is capable and she's being held back, or she is just saying words like that in order to like try to justify protecting her, that she does not want to see Noriko hurt. Kazumi wants to see Noriko safe. She is regularly referred to as Big Sister, and I think that there's an amount of like doting care and concern for Noriko's safety. And the anime opens with her trying to be supportive of Noriko, despite the fact that she is presented in school as like a pretty heinous failure. Yeah, so that's about where they stand, but they are no longer partners. Then walks in Isamu. Whoops, sorry. So this is post audio Austin. I'm gonna have to edit this in. I guess I must have bought my microphone, so some of this got muted. I'll do my best to try to recount my thoughts. So yeah, Isamu is taking the place of Smith Torin, another character from Gunbuster. Isamu is from Macross. He is taking the place of Smith Torin, who becomes Noriko's partner after she dissolves her partnership with Kazumi. He is on the Excellion because he is trying to test the YF-19, which is another of the like transformable airplane models. I am not quite. I'm curious how they're going to introduce this element of the story, because there's like a very particular reason why the girls are set up in pairs, or why the pals are set up in pairs. I think we predominantly see them be women, but why they're set up in pairs and using the same units. That's like plays to how the Gunbuster works. I'm surprised to see that they are pairing her off with someone else who's not using a similar unit. We are back on the Excellion bridge now with our whole crew. They are just checking their scanners as they are trying to monitor for Global and the Macross. They were planning on meeting him around Mars. And suddenly an enemy fleet came into view, an unknown enemy, and they started firing on the team. we have an expert point here. The options being either we can return fire or we can not return fire. We are going to choose to not return fire. I'm not actually sure who it is that is potentially sieging our battleship right now. The translation does not tell me. I do wonder if it's that third party that Tashiro mentions at the end of the chapter. He's going to, I guess, I know that you guys haven't seen it yet, but fortunately, though, we are going to, in order to make our escape, we are going to jump to Pluto, which does happen to be where the Macross is right now. Not that the Excellion knows that at the moment. And just like the early 2000s, Pluto is basically non-existent now. Look how much open space there is around this area. No, we successfully made our jump, but unfortunately, doing so cost us most of the RX-7 units that were on the battleship. Admittedly, there's not a whole ton of them. I think the number is 122 or something like that. It's a pretty small number. But it does, we are left with just Noriko in the Nausicaa, Kazumi in the Giselle, and Young in the Misha. All three of them are the RX-7s. They are roughly the same units. Those names are just what the girls have given them to like identify themselves. Here we have the Misha. Young has a genius. She's called a genius a lot in the show, so I'm really glad they gave her those stats too. We are going to look at their spirits a little bit more concertedly a little bit later, but there's definitely a spirit on Young that I'm very excited for. So I know I moved back and forth here a couple of times because I was just like not remembering what was happening, but Young's RX-7 has a different pool of attacks than the other two girls. Right, so we have 1300, 1800, and 2300, or 2800 power, while the other girls have 11, 16, 2000, and 3000. So Young has a lower ceiling, but it's also one that is like way sooner to access. So you can see the 3000 power attack is 110 morale requirement, where Young's is only 105, and it also doesn't cost her anything to use it. So once we can get up there, we can already like scale pretty well into an attack that we can just sort of like freewheel. I think she is probably a pretty good candidate for getting some upgrades. I don't know exactly what I have to imagine that the Sizzler is also going to show up in this game. I can't imagine we're going to be given this series and not have a Sizzler. So I don't know what we want to put points into. But if the Sizzler works the same way, we could like definitely get a lot of use out of it. I know we looked at the Excellion at the very beginning, but like I had no context for what it was now. We have some good long-ranged attacks. We have 1 to 8 range. It's a shame that we only have one pilot though, and his spirits are pretty lackluster. We have a Scan, a Bullseye, and a Fortune. At the very least, we do have access to the 2800 power cannons immediately. We don't have to wait for those for some morale requirement. We also don't have a map attack, which feels a little bit of an oddity to a battleship. I feel like almost every battleship does have one, and maybe it'll get one later. Maybe it like opens up when they like activate full battle mode or whatever. I found the AI for these things really fascinating. It felt slightly different. I do feel like we have some like somewhat unique AI, that there's not just this like one singular program that controls all the enemies, because all of these space monsters are like trying to stay clustered up. Like enemies are moving in a way that is not actually putting them closer to our units. Sometimes genuinely even further away. Like I've seen a lot of the enemies in this game move in a way that was tile-wise neutral, but gave them better positioning in respect to like the tiles on the ground. But I've never really seen them move further away, but these ones have. They seem to want to stay pretty clustered, which like tracks with the sort of like wave tactics that they use, like in original canon. So I'm pro this. I'm really in favor of this. It's gonna be a minute to figure out like exactly how we are gonna be able to like respond to it. I want to be a little bit slower this chapter. I want to actually learn the lesson from the previous mission, and you know, actually try to like bait attacks rather than just sort of like rushing in and not really thinking about it. So yes, as much as our translation said that only the 3RX-7 survived, I guess the YF-19 was not included in that count because we are going to get to try out another of the Macross units. And good lord, is Isamu and the YF-19 so much better than the other ones we were using already. Look at those base stats. 1300 armor feels so much safer. Like we're not going to accidentally get clipped and then go spiraling off into the dirt. And 140 mobility is like pretty reasonable to start with. Seeing as we like at Max's max mobility, it was 180. So, you know, we have a really competent unit so far. Isamu has guts. I don't remember what guts actually do. I don't think I've checked them. But he also has shield defense. I also remember questioning why he had shield defense because I didn't remember a jet having a shield. But we'll see when we transform forms that at the very least the middle form has a shield. I don't actually remember if the like fully humanoid form has a shield. We also, fortunately, actually have a like post movement option this time. The ability to move and attack, especially with I think it's 876 for the 3 different forms. Oh, sorry, no, it's even better. It's 987. This thing just feels like an absolute house. I don't know if Isamu is like one of the main characters later, or he's just sort of the like equivalent of the White Ranger, right? That he's just like cooler than beyond belief. But he looks so good. We do have 2 melee attacks that are 1 range, but 3200 power at a 110 morale requirement is not that hard. We can very easily get to that point. We'll see later. I'll show it off later, but I'll say it now that he does have spirit, so we can also just like hit that immediately if we need it. 30 energy is also not that like steep of a requirement. We have effectively 4 uses of it immediately, and energy is the cheapest thing to upgrade. So like we could use this attack a lot, and our next 2 attacks also have different like costs, right? Like we just have the regular punch fight attack that caused no cost, and then our 1700 power attack is ammo based. So like we are dipping into all 3 of them, and obviously we would prefer the 3200 power, like of course, but I think our stats are pushed enough that like post movement 1700 power is like just good enough. The fact that we get to use our best options are not dipping into to all the other options is really helpful. So yeah, the Battleroid form does have a shield also. Okay. We also added 1 more attack on top of this. It is the like it's like full volley or something like that. I think it's close to what it says, but it's just sort of the like fire everything. It's just sort of the fire everything attack. Oh, sorry, this is just volley fire. My bad. I also noticed that my mic was off. I really hope that this wasn't muted the entire time. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, so it's just like a fire. It's like a fire everything kind of attack. We are also going from 9 to 8 to 7 move, which is highly desirable. Okay, do we have a scan on somebody? No, we do not. That's unfortunate. If anyone was going to have it, I figured it was going to be the battleship, but I guess I've also like not looked at their spirits yet. We'll talk about them as we're going to sort of break up the base of things. That's a good sign, though. Okay. I obviously don't like I said, I want to be more cautious. But let's see what combat looks like with all of these. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, it seems like they only have an adjacent attack. Let's see if we can give this man a focus. We can. He's got 30% HP. Oh, there's the spear we were talking about. Perfect. Yeah, so he can also jump himself up to that 110 attack. I think using 2 of them feels a little bit hasty given what we have, like, recently learned. And let's take a look at our new animations. But I would like to try and chip into these. Yeah, I seeing how swarmy they are, seeing that we can get a 0% hit rate, I think we are probably set up. Yeah, I think we're probably set up for success here, being just at like the edge of where we can hit them. Then I think we can still see their movement from here, right? Yes. Okay. So we're gonna put someone here. Let's put young Freud. Right, so then she can attack adjacently. Then we can put someone here. We're gonna put Norika. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna count it because the screen does not want to stay in place, so I can't just like visual estimate. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they have a move of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we can put someone here at a diagonal. Yeah, I think this should be set up fine. I'm surprised we don't have a map attack with the battleship. I feel like every battleship should have this, like, giant, like, cover a huge area cannon. Admittedly, we did not put spirits on the girls, but I think we're gonna be maybe I am thinking for no reason, but I suspect we're gonna be okay. These do not seem particularly scary on their own. It feels like the getting into interesting. It feels like the getting into groups thing that's actually going to be the problem. Yeah, there we. Oh right, yeah, because they're not adjacent. Okay, there we go. Interesting. Well, I guess we're going to body check this one and see how much damage they actually do, because we didn't have a scan. We have like no way of telling how combat potent they are. With 1200 attack, or 1200 HP, I have to imagine this is, or sorry, 1400. I have to imagine this is not going to be like one-shotting us. Unfortunate. Okay. We should try and see if we can get a read other damage. Oh, I love the Inazuma kick so much. Oh yeah. I remember someone giving me a really hard time for saying Inazuma. Like, the word is Inazuma in like actual Japanese. But the girls do be like the first time that Noriko says the attack, she says I-na-zu-ma. Like, she breaks up all 4 syllables and emphasizes all of them. So like, and far be it for me to tell you how to pronounce things, because like my Japanese is not that good, but I definitely heard it first as I-na-zu-ma every time people like overpronounce it. So I guess do with that as you will. Okay, maybe we might be able to get away with the 1200 power one. I don't. I think in this case that is being cautious in a way that's incorrect. We want to get these kills. So, well, we're getting auto-selected to this. Let's see what this looks like, because we haven't used this attack yet. But then we were getting auto-selected to the weakest attack. So maybe these kills have given us enough morale that this is going to be lethal. But we can churn through these, I think, pretty quickly. Yeah, maybe what the tactic here is that they sort of like drain, like they waste a little bit of our SP, and like maybe a chip or 2 is enough. Sweet. Maybe a chip or 2 is enough to offset us kind of poorly. They can just like throw numbers at us, and then the like actual big battleships are going to be more akin to the Macross battleships we were fighting last map, that are going to cause us some problems. But their movement patterns are so weird and so interesting. Okay, now we can turn these off and then just clean these up. It feels so nice to see a 0-100 out of this game. It feels like it's been a hot minute since we've actually gotten to see that. I say, knowing that I, like, a largely naturally occurring one. This was slightly artificial, but... Yeah. I was hoping we were going to clear a few more of these. I'm just really worried. I'm really worried about the girls, and I'm really worried about what the cone's going to do. But worry no longer, because the rest of the team is showing up. There they are. So it looks like we did get things operational again. It looks like we are back on our feet. Interesting which units got force deployed there. Okay, we need to deploy the core booster. Where is Uso? Oh, it's sorted by, hold on, we sort by level. He was 24, I think. Ooh. This is still Rekoa in here. Hold on. Nope. Can we not? Okay. Oh, that's not good. I guess it didn't save my sortieing with Uso. Or my switch to Uso. So I guess let's use the Ray Bluger for now. That's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be that big of a difference. This map also feels like it's really easy comparatively. So I maybe don't need to be too worried, but I need to start setting a good, precedent. Super Gundam. Where is the Bluger? This is, this is Ray. Then what else? We can take the Voltace also. Sure. We can take the Bilbine. Is there anything else we're sort of missing? We definitely don't have Hikaru anymore for the regular Macross units. I guess maybe we should maybe put some points into. There's too many characters I want to use. There's too many characters I want to use. I don't. Having extra separates seems really relevant here. I know we just said about checking our separate strats, but given how weak these things are, getting to clean a couple of these up, I feel like is probably worth our while. Let's take Ava. I think we probably kind of want to be deploying at least Ava at all times. Also for the sake of giving us the stupid how stupid AT field is. We probably want one of those always. I do have another bit of dialogue prompt here, but I'll say something when we see the actual characters. No. Interesting. Akira has. Okay, we're definitely getting all of our psychics getting a pretty harsh psychic reading. I get the sense that there is something maybe psychic about these. I don't know why. Okay, I guess we do have a scan. We do have access to a scan now. Or we should somewhere. Yeah, there we go. I won't scan everything because we don't really need to. Let's see how bad these are. Okay, they have large HP and energy regen, which is definitely a problem. They have a reasonable amount of defense, though. They do have only 1,300. The double large. I definitely didn't talk about this last mission, but the double large is for sure contributing some amount to why they're taking so little damage. Okay, we probably can't burn this out, but as long as we're not adjacent to them is our best bet. / if we're going to be adjacent to them, we need to prepare to know that we are adjacent to them, Okay. I guess let's try this. I thought the Excellion had 2,500 HP for a second, and I was shook. But no, we're fine. Yeah, let's get a damage estimation. I know I could do the math on it, but let's get a damage estimation. And because I also want to see the Excellion attack. And maybe I need to go back and make a bar also to sort of like estimate with these question marks, just like roughly where the HP is based on how much we see it going down. Like we know about roughly what 50k looks like now. That's pretty cool. Oh, okay, no, this is definitely way more manageable. Yeah, no. It's so upsetting looking. It's so well done. Okay. Okay. I think that was 1100 damage against 106 morale and 1300 armor and double large. This is 1200. This is the RX-7s are slightly less, but also small. So I think it might be a bit risky to send them after these battleships, barring a spirit that protects them. So given that, I think we just kill the arrogators. I think we just kill the the space monsters. But let's get a scan on them also to make sure there isn't something else that I'm missing with them. That maybe there's like a 1 range attack, but they also have exclusively an 8 range attack. No, okay, no. They're like definitely very cannon. They're definitely very cannon foddery. Like those are some of the most pitiful stats we've seen both defensive properties yet. But okay, we can for sure send Isamu in pretty deep into enemy territory. Also, that's good. We will focus again. Using a Valor is for sure not necessary. But let's see how big of a map attack we can get. Is it 3 range or 4 range? It probably, oh, 3 range. Yeah, it's for sure 3 range. Where we want to be is right here. But I want to get the alien battleship. Yeah, I think like this is a good option, and then we just like move. Yeah, we move Noriko 1, 2. We move Noriko here, and like punch this. I think we're gonna risk the 95. I think we're just gonna have to. I think that's fine. But I do want to put the XP on her. Yeah, we're 4 levels down right now. Even this will do something relevant for us. You know what? Never mind. We are gonna here. That difference is actually like changing it from 100%. So that wasn't for the damage. That was for the accuracy. Yeah. And then we go here with Isamu for this. Oh, no, it is targetable. It is selectable. Okay. Okay. So then we don't need to be there because what we want to do is... we want to target there, right? No. We want to move in 1. And target. Yeah, we somehow want to get this target. I think this is what 1, 2. This is 6. I don't think we can do better than that. So as long as we can land that target somewhere, we can like go further in to give us. Yeah, like that's probably fine. We hit ourselves though, so maybe not exactly that. Right, like that. I think that's probably going to be the call. That should clear a lot of these things out and also start chipping the boss. And because Isamu has focus on, we like want him deeper in enemy territory in case we can get some of these to like accidentally get baited onto him. Especially now that we've sort of broken the like group formation, maybe they're gonna be more apt to like start targeting our units. I also don't hate the idea of putting more XP on him. That seems good. Okay, that wasn't a lot of experience. Though he showed up, yeah, he showed up as an experienced pilot, though. I guess, like, especially comparatively, we want Noriko to have way less XP to, like, show that she is the most in training of pilots. Oh, my word, yes. I think I'm gonna try and use Young Freud. I want to... Her upside seems so potentially good. The fact that she both has genius and has gain feels like that's busted. Come on, like that feels so good. I hope she leaves the RX-7. I can't. I don't know how the Gunbuster is going to work or like how pounds are going to work in it, but I have to imagine she at least gets the Sizzler. I can't imagine they're not going to put the Sizzler in the game. That would be weird if they didn't. That said, that's like a pretty competent attack on its own. Given the fact that it doesn't cost anything, we just need to have 5 extra morale. Like, we could have that to start if we give her enough kills. Like, that's probably pretty reasonable. Okay, let's line this up and see what our stats are looking like. 44. Can we? We do not have a full dodge. We do have a Valor, though. Oh. Okay. We did, like, 5K here, right? You have 160 shooting and 2,800 power against double large. You have 165 melee, 3,000, but you are much smaller. I'm going to estimate like 4,000, 5,000. Yeah, no, about 4,000 points of damage, probably. Double to about 8,000. I think we could maybe do it if it felt like we had literally anybody else over there, but we do not, so we can't. Darn, you got deployed in not the right spot. Hold on. What is their like danger range? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so at this at that angle with the monsters. And then 1 or 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, so I think here is safe for the Gundam, unless I counted that badly. This is fine. Cool, great. And then, yeah, like this is why like the Grungust has a stupid amount of armor. So let's just have our tanky characters like just try to plow into the side of these enemy battleships. No, don't waste it. We don't. It's fine. I want to be economy efficient, but like we don't have to be. It'll be fine. Then you don't have a post movement attack here. I really hope Max gets a better jet at some point. This goes here for what will just be free. Yeah. I do kind of love, it feels like a rarity in these games that that not the main character is given like really high quality special treatment. But it feels like it's true here. We did just miss a 95. So that's cool and fun. Very grand. I need to look at the battleships too to make sure they don't have a post movement attack. I did not like think about that before because of where we were positioned. It wouldn't have mattered, but they do have a 1 range post movement attack. Okay, and they only have 5 movement, so the Bluger is safe as long as we keep it out of the like 7 enemy range. Historically, you've been able to survive on attack, and they're pretty safe over there. We're gonna use 1 Excel out of Shinobu because it still doesn't break up any of what he has going on. I don't know if we want to just try and kill 1. I don't think we can. Hold on. No, don't separate. We need them to have. It's nice that they have so many good spirits, but we kind of need them to get some cheap ones too. Right? It's like building a deck in a TCG. It's like, yeah, it's cool that you have all these really expensive spells, but like, if you don't ever get the chance to play all of them, what's the point? I mean, no, I can't complain. The Don Cougar is so good. I think we would, given the opportunity, if every unit we had in play could be the Don Cougar, I think we would 100% take that still in this game. And then you can, like, generally be over to the side. Okay. Right. Let's move 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. Let's move her over here and see if we can bait like one of the monsters. You're not counterattacking. Okay, that's not ideal. Barring anything else showing up, I think we probably have this pretty. This is going to get cleaned up pretty quickly, I think. Especially if the enemy battleships are just like wasting time and not actually attacking us. It set us to this to start. That's wild. I see no reason not to use this attack. It's still 100% accuracy. I just like want to make sure. I know they're fragile, but like five energy is almost not a cost. It is a very perfunctory cost. Five energy is a cost in a way that it stops you from being able to take actions once you have already performed your best attacks, not the other direction. I mean, like obviously it literally is, but for our purposes, I think it's fine. Okay. We do have range for Don Cougar. This is for sure going to happen then. So let's get a Savage Beast, or let's get an aggressive beast to go in. What is Savage Beast? I want to call it Savage Beast all the time. I should look that up because that's like the name that jumps to my mind. Like, what is that coming from? Yeah, I think this is going to be our attack. Then we'll Valor with Shinobu. That's fine. We pretty badly want to get Fortunes on here, but I think we're going to make this risk and just sort of see how this goes. Okay, they've got 18,000 HP. Great. That's interesting. So that was only worth 7,000. They sure do say they're worth 50,000 here. So I wonder if these aren't actually being treated as bosses. I think that could be the case. And maybe only that battleship is, if even. Okay, so that does give me an idea as to how yeah, I think we can probably clear. I think we're probably going to clear next turn. So this is going to go back in the Gundam, and we're going to chip it again. Oh, no, we can't. We're just out of range now, aren't we? Yeah, we are just out of range. Okay. But for sure, one of these is going to Freud. So do this. But like I said, I think we're getting about like 8K. So that's gonna be that needs to be under half, approximately. I guess we can just like send the Raideen forward. Maybe this is fine. And you know, he's not gonna do 8K. He's not gonna do 8K unsupported, right? Yeah. So the Valor probably isn't necessary here. Actually, for sure it's not. So maybe do we try and set a different one up then instead? Like give this to Noriko. Like she probably doesn't even need a Valor. I'll be right back. Oh, I for sure misspoke earlier. I forgot that size plays no factor into damage in this game. Or at least as far as the equations go, at least as far as the one, like, when I checked it did not. So, theoretically, this should do approximately 4,134 points of damage without a Valor. So that would be lethal. Do we care about where she is positioned? I don't think so. Because I think we can... Yeah, I think we can at least get one of the other ones. And if she needs to block one of these, she can. But they've also not seemed interested in making an attack each turn. All right, well, we crit, so it was fine. yeah, that helps a lot. Cool. Then let's do that calc a second time on where we need to get... Because if that looked good on her, it's going to look so much better on Freud. Let's do that calc again here. So we have 1,300 armor times 1.18. So we need to do 18,000 plus 1,530 more points of damage. 1,534 points of damage. Probably more accurately like 3,100, 3,200. Because we probably can't do that in one attack. We're going to do that too, especially if we want to have, like, if we want Young to get the attack. She has 2,800 power and a little bit less power than Noriko, so we're also going to be doing a little bit less. So that's 1.64 times 1.17 times 2,800 is 5,373. And then that's minus, what did I say before? 15 something? 1534. And then that's doubled afterwards because Valor takes place after that calc. So 7,677. Barring crits. We can bullseye this again. He's got a fortune. That feels very out of character for him. But he sure do have it. Okay. That's fine. Oh, we could also just have the Grungus deal with that. We could go here. Okay, we could have the Voltase deal with it. So let's have the Voltase split for now and see what we can do about these other Arrogators. I keep wanting to call them Arrogators. They're not. That's not what they are. What am I doing? Can any of them get to it? This one can. Oh, but there are 4 spaces in between. There need to only be 3, so never mind that. Never mind that. We have already made the split. Yes, we've already made the split. I thought we did. I could not remember. Yes, yeah, because we started by thinking that the Super Gundam could have attacked over here, and it did not. And it could not have. So I think let's just grab one of these freely. Maybe we could have thought about that a little bit more, but here we are. How do the getter machines do it? How do they fare in space? They have an A in space. That's not unreasonable. So like we could chip here, but separating doesn't actually do anything in this case. There's no reason to separate. The other 2 pilots would not actually get to do anything, so like why bother? I can't remember if this Hayato has Excel. He does not. That's a shame. How does the Liger do in space? Liger's good in space. We are in business. We can punch here. We'll flash this. And we can also Valor that, I think. Yeah. We've sort of been using the getter a bit as a flunky. I think I said this before, but like they definitely feel like they need more investment than they would normally. Okay, we need about 2K more. How definitely a downside to these units. Definitely a downside to these units is the fact that they are only one range. That's like I had to say it out loud because I feel like I talked exclusively positively about them. And like don't you worry. I do recognize that there is a pretty big limit to them, but also don't you worry. We're gonna solve that limitation pretty soon. Okay, so we could have Isamu. We could have a Isamu chip, and that would be fine. And then I guess maybe that is going to be okay because. Oh no! I was gonna say it's gonna be okay because we're gonna handle the other 2, but this one and this one were both sort of in my mind being accounted for by the Grungust and the Eva, which is not going to work. We can also just transform this freely now. That's so nice. We've not really like actually fully assessed them across. We will maybe do that. I might have us do that at a different juncture. Like if we have some time left over during an intermission because a scenario was not quite long enough, we can talk a little bit more about it then. Because I also don't know like how long term it is we get to like actually use it. You know. Go here. We can go. What are actual post movement options? We have 3 range. Okay. Here we could go 1, 2, 3, and they could also still hit this. Okay, so that's fine. Maybe this is going to be Isamu's job. I just feel like he could contribute so much more to combat by it. You know, like sometimes that's all you have to do, I guess. And I like keeping him where he is because he is in position to hit basically everything else other than the other battleship. Okay. This is like uncomfortably close on damage though. I forgot to think about this. That it's blocking more now because it has more morale. Does Daunt exist in this game? I don't remember. No, it does not look like it, or at least not so far as we have it. Okay. Can the Ginrei Robo help, seeing as she does not really have anything to heal? She could heal somebody, but I think this is better just to make sure that, yeah. I think even that amount is enough to make me not scared about this attack. But this is also always how it goes, it feels like. I'm going to turn the animation on because I want to see what the full damage number is. But this is how it feels like it always goes with this game, is that I like get spooked because like every once in a while there's a difficult map, and then I like feel over prepared for the next one, and I like don't keep that pressure up because I start feeling comfortable again. Where like I don't think we're going to use any of our like resuppliers, healers. I don't think we're going to use any of our support units this time. But that doesn't mean we still weren't correct to bring them. Cool. Okay. Yeah. That actually was a little bit more damage than we projected, despite the fact that it had more morale. I wonder... Oh, you know what? There is proximity damage correction. Oh, wait, 7 levels. No, but she only has 1 range on it. Do these not have an A in space? Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Do these spacefaring life forms not have an A in space? Is that what's happening here? No, they do. Okay, weird. Oh, you know what? I think the answer may just be that she has a personality that is giving her more morale back from seeing enemy kills than the enemy is. That maybe the answer is just as straightforward as that. Okay, let's give this. We're gonna, if we can, we're gonna give this to Brooklyn. We've not really gotten to see Bullet got to do much recently. So I know what I just said about not spending things, but I think we're close. I'm kind of getting the sense we're close to the end. So let's punch it up a notch, shall we? And then we're also like in close proximity to the flowering one next turn. Yeah. AT fields are so stupid. They're so stupid. Unfortunately, we don't have a game for the ground gust, but oh, we don't even have enough damage for it. Oh, we're just shy. Okay. Well, whoopsie doosies. You know what? That's fine. No, this was all tactical. Because now we can eke some more resource out of it through the Voltes. Excel and a fortune. Oh, they've got gain on them twice. Normally I complain about that a little bit, but it feels like in this game where we could like get some really stupid like EXP numbers, where we've regularly gained 7 EXP, or we've regularly gained 7 levels of EXP in a kill. I'm not opposed to that. That's definitely a downside of these old games too, is they don't tell you what everyone else gets. I feel like other pilots get spirits. I don't think there's anything new there. I could be wrong, but nothing stands out majorly right now as like, oh man, gotta have it. Let's just move them across in. Yeah, we'll move them across in, and then we can maybe arm D punch the flowering one next turn. I don't actually know if it's called the flowering. I don't remember what their names are. They've got a lot of kanji going on. I'm not going to spend the time to translate it right now. Sorry, I probably will between recordings. But it feels the most apt of descriptions. Then you know what? That's fine. Yeah, seeing as we're gonna end, we're not gonna end this turn anyway. I don't mind not checking the extra 11%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because we're not like gaining or losing turns that way. Like that action wasn't gonna get spent on anything else. And we aren't like clearing it a turn faster. And in the event that this in fact is actually not nearly close to over. Right, let's see what this thing looks like up close. I imagine it's just going to be the regular bottle with just like some like custom tail piping on it or something. Yeah. Oh no, okay. That looks considerably different. It's a terrible noise. I mean, the Foley work is good. What they did was make a noise so gross, I think. I find the Ava unit just like standing in space so funny and so weird looking. It's good. I like it. Sure. What are you doing? Did I just like not... Actually, as I'm saying this, I do think I forgot to read the objective this time to see if there was like a don't let them get close to the don't let them end next to the Excellion. Yeah, no, we're fine. It's the usual like Excellion across. Stay safe. All we care about is all we ever care about is the battleships. I guess Freud is not going to actually get that much from this kill now because of how we did things. So I feel like there's like a big old good hunk of XP sitting here that I don't want to waste. I don't know who to give it to. This is the only attack that you can make that matters, so let's do that. I guess theoretically Freud is our best target right now. Oh, I also did not think to consider whether we need an accuracy, but we don't. We're fine. I've also just like been playing pretty fast and loose with their HP. I've like not checked whether this is going to be like lethal or not, but no, we're fine. It's good. Freud even has a. She seems stacked, which as I said that we got 90 for that. This is so unfortunate. I mean, I'm not surprised just because like the scaling of the difference of levels. I realized as I said that was not meant to be a joke, but I sure did. That sure is funny given one of her dominant personality traits is just like getting her boobs out whenever she can. I guess not whenever she can, but they sure do make a show of her. They sure do make a show of her comparing sizes when they're in the tub. Okay, I think we are good to fire here. I don't feel like spending a bullseye for one accuracy matters. Here's where it would be pretty heckin' cool if we had the W scan, but great. Yeah, I'm gonna throw about like double the HP of the other ones in here. But it's also worth less, which could mean that it's worth more because this thing is so messed up. This system is. Let's just keep the Ava unit like fully properly out of the way. No shot that it's gonna block someone else's attack. We can have another Valor off of the Grungust. And doesn't need accuracy. I think this is going to get us pretty close It's 5K. We're still on there. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not double. Maybe it's a little bit more than double. What options do we have? Nope, I don't want to change it. I want to see your spirits. Okay. I think we're not gonna. I think we might just not. No, we probably will worry about it a little bit. Should we give it to them across? You know what? We're gonna give it to them across. We're gonna give it to them across. Hopefully, we're going to play the Voltace like it's going to kill, and if it doesn't, then it's the Macrosses. But if it does, then totally fine. We have the option of getting to do both. So I think we Valored. I think the one last thing we need to put on here is a Valor. If we did not. No, we did. Okay, good. We also we might need to put on an Accuracy, but we'll see. We do need to put on some Accuracy. I'll just put the bullseye on. Don't think about it. I could have quick tried to remember what number we saw, but it's fine. And let's make sure we have boss kills on if we can help it. Sorry. Yeah, I think the pattern of units getting introduced is generally still we're getting a pretty easy stage. And I guess the Macross wasn't technically introduced last map. We finally got to use it, but it was introduced the map a couple maps before that as we were playing around on the island. So I'm forcing exceptions to fit into the nomenclature that I've arbitrarily decided. But I think in my head I understand the pattern, you know. Okay, so it was 3 times. It was 3 times. Yeah, that makes sense. That feels right. Is it 3 times? No, that's just double. That's just double. Never mind. It screams in such a almost human way. It's so uncomfy. Do you think Guzzlord's piloting it? Okay, that gave us 11,000. So that's clearly also not using the upgraded money count that we had established from bosses, which makes sense to me, seeing as that also is just worth less in general. Yeah, okay, cool. That was in fact our last that was in fact our last kill of the map. We have our 2 captains getting to meet at long last, even though we only introduced it once, but they are getting to chat. Tashido says that they were on the planet Zeus. I know that we introduced a planet early on, in the first mission. I don't remember what the name of the planet was. Maybe it was Zeus, but they were at Zeus, and they lost all but the Excellion in that fight, which feels a little contrary to what we got told before, that they had established a perimeter that the Irrigators had been crossing. And I don't think you can say that you've established a perimeter with 1 battleship, but I'm not a military expert, so maybe I'm wrong. But they feel pretty confident that despite the fact that there's only 1 battleship left, that Tashiro wants them across largely to stay out of the deal here, because this battleship is exclusively manned by people who are by some metrics part of the military. Yes, we pulled girls from school, but they knew the program they were joining and what they were signing up for, and that they should be able to handle both the Irrigators and any large giant monsters. That said, the 2 captains sort of hint that the force that annihilated the rest of Excellion's fleet in Zeus is maybe not 2 of our identified space threats. So there's also maybe a 3rd party on the horizon, unless in fact that is just the Macross villains, and Tashido is keeping the canon plot from happening, right? Because we have Irrigators and the space monsters. We have seen the Macross enemies, but maybe Tashido has not. He's conflating these 2 things. Or maybe in fact there's actually 4 and their math's just bad because they don't know that they're talking about different things, you know? Next we have Isamu doing some recon. I forgot to mention this when when he and Noriko theoretically paired up. But the reason he was present there was because he was having a contest about whether his unit, the YF-19, could outperform the YF-21. The YF-21 is equipped with some technology that like the Macross is even lacking, or is like rivals the Macross in that it has a fold system and it has a barrier, which I suspect is probably also the same pinpoint barrier that Y-19 has, or YF-19 has. But the Macross plane, or the YF-21, the plane itself, has fold technology, which they make it sound like is a pretty big deal. But they don't even know if South Italia still survives. It was being tested there, but maybe because we sort of scooped up the rest of the team when we folded, that maybe the YF-21 is just sort of like sitting around here somewhere, like he should go and look for it, maybe, if he's interested. But if not, he also could just like declare that he's won by default because it stopped existing, so how could it outperform the unit that he has? This bit feels weird. Well, okay, part of it feels normal. So Uta introduces our three gunbuster pilots. We don't seem to really resolve the fact that Noriko and Kazumi are not talking, but that's fine. Maybe we'll talk about it later. They're just being professional right now. And Uta wants the group to get some more combat experience, which really makes sense for like what the extra training he's trying to put Noriko through. I've complained about that as being like a pretty lame excuse before, but I think in this case it works based on how like weirdly they handle mech training. Like they have them doing exercises that are like basically just human exercises, which don't really make sense to be doing in robots. Like the drills they're doing are not robot drills, they're human drills, because it's more about the approximation of like understanding human working than like actually working with the machines. But then Noriko is no longer going to be Isamu's partner, but Isamu is still like on the Macross with like I don't, that feels really forced. That feels like we're trying to like nudge. Did you see the reference to episode 3? Did you see the reference to episode 4? Kind of energy. Without like giving it a good reason. Like I don't know why they are like why do we even bother doing the like she's partnered off with someone else if we're gonna like clear that immediately? That had like no bearing on the mission, other than just to reference the Tosin, I think is what his name was, the other RX-7 pilot from original Gunbuster. So here's some context that I feel like kind of got like lost in translation, quite literally. So Roy is talking to Hikaru about his present living situation, which is to say that he is living under the same roof with Minmay, but they are not living together, which is such a like old person cliche, living in sin kind of attitude. I'm not surprised that Roy is invested in whether or not like he is the quintessential like mech pilot sidekick womanizer, really interested in like who is boning who, how, where, and when and why. So like I'm not surprised he is asking about Hikaru's relationship, but just the like you're living together feels maybe I'm too modern brained a bit, but like that's how media interpretation works sometimes too, that you're allowed to bring the modern perspective. But anyway, I did not realize that Hikaru was not actually like fully properly in the military. He like just jumped into a unit because of an emergency. I thought like he was being sortied in a unit, that he was like a new recruit off the streets hopping into a unit before he was sort of like able to be a test pilot, right? That his like first day on the job was going to be like active combat. But no, it sounds like there's no reason for Roy to ask him to join the military and fly next to him and fly with him again if he isn't already part of the military, you know? But there's also a line that I've been cutting out because I like hate the way it is phrased. It is very the like women are mysterious creatures kind of energy, but it's come up enough times that I probably should like mention it. That Hikaru keeps asking if women change day by day. I don't know if that's like a refrain from the show or not. I was like hoping that was just like a weird like translation gimmick, or it was like not going to be a recurring element, but it the reductiveness to which we like approach emotions and like change in a person, or like steady constantness, is like, I also think somewhat unhealthy. But we can talk about that. Well, we can go into that more when we get there. We'll see how the game handles it. We'll see how the game handles it. I did not quite clock that Noriko was a bit of an otaku. Like I get it a little bit, but it does not feel. It feels overblown here. But she's like just super pumped that all of the mech are like all the super robots are gathered here together. She recognizes Koji and is like the most excited to meet him and get to see him, while Young is mostly just like very snooty. I feel like she comes off that way really early on in the show, and like maybe because she has established a relationship with Kazumi and Noriko, that this is like less true internal to her like interpersonal relationships, but maybe more true later. But she's very like dismissive of everything. She's like disinterested in the robots, I think, because she thinks she's a better pilot and has a better robot. She is impressed by the entire city, but wants to be very like stern and austere about the language that gets used. She's like, no, it's not a colony ship, it is an escape pod. Very like pushes glasses up over nose and like very matter of fact, like maybe almost too serious for her own good. And this really haughty genius kind of energy, which is like fair. I feel like before I watched Gunbuster, I feel like I heard Carl Jung, Young Freud described that way, and like I feel like that did not come across in the show nearly as much as I was expecting. But we end with Koji. I really hope that this is going to come to pass. I hope this is a Chekhov's gun. But Koji does say that Ryusei and Noriko cannot meet because like they're going to be cataclysmic together with how much they are both like mech otakus, and I think that's really. I really want them to meet now. Oh, right, sorry. Another like detail from Gunbuster that like is getting translated here in a way that's weird. Noriko has a friend in school that reads her fortune every day, but Noriko here says that she went to a fortune teller that said good things were on the horizon. And like, why did we port that over if we didn't port it over correctly? Like, I get that her friend like isn't a pilot, or she is a pilot. That's not true. Her friend is a pilot, just she just didn't get picked from Japan. But like, I don't know, we're making stuff up. Why don't you like add her to the ship? But the way in which the fortunes represent this like daily slice of life, like activity between friends, trying to mitigate the like difficulties of being in school, that being moved and abstracted to just like a random person fortune teller, I feel like loses a lot of the charm of Noriko's character, that she is supposed to be this like down to earth every man, every woman character, that like you and your friends will do these kind of like silly little rituals too in order to try and like make sense out of the world. And I'm sad that we're sort of missing that a little bit. I feel like her personality has been changed in this. That said, I have not participated in all of the like Gunbuster auxiliary material, so maybe this is like more accurate to the rest of her characterization other times. Or maybe y'all are going to disagree with me and we just have a different read on her from like just the show. And to wrap up, we have Hikaru talking to Minmay about his choice. So I guess he got asked by Roy when Roy asked him to join the military. I guess like enough time passed, he like made his decision that he's like, yeah, I'm going to join the military now. So he wanted to tell Minmay that like he's not going to be around nearly as much. She says that's fine, just like come and visit whenever he's off duty. And he says, yeah, like I'll do my best to if I'm still alive. To which Minmay says, yeah, like all the soldiers tell me that. Every soldier that comes to my store tells me that. And he's like, oh, I'm just another soldier. Oh, I don't like their relationship, which is sad because I think Minmay's design is really cute. I love her. I love the like energy she brings to performances. in all of the like AMVs I've seen before. I like that Hikaru is sort of a like airplane otaku. We have like a collection of otakus that are sort of joining together, but there's a lot of very like unfortunate performative like teenage early 20s angst kind of behavior. Okay, well, that went pretty well. I don't know how long this is going to be when I cut it down. I paused a lot during this, but this might have the beginnings of last episode stapled onto it. I'm sorry that this got like cut up really weird. Yeah, it's like so hard for me to estimate some of these. I'm sorry. But I don't know if this is going to be a Wednesday or a Friday episode. We shall see. I'm going to do preps again off screen. I want to get back to like having preps be a thing we like open a mission with. So rather than sort of just like jamming numbers and like not really fully thinking about it, like going through and making some more deliberate decisions. I suspect these are going to go to, I guess we could talk about like what I'm going to like try to look at. If we got to keep... Oh, we did not get to keep Isamu's unit. Okay. Does not look like, because it had more HP than this. That's unfortunate. I kind of wanted to upgrade that. Okay, well, that's fine. Never mind, I guess we won't check that. I don't know what I'm going to do with my money then. I, like, don't know how much I want to upgrade the RX-7s, because I know what's going to happen. I don't know if those get, like, the stats get transferred into the new unit. Maybe Young's... I could see Young's getting transferred into the Sizzler. But yeah, like that's something I can figure out later. I just like don't know. Yeah, I don't know where to put our resources right now in a way that feels like it matters. I was really looking forward to like getting to upgrade the 19, the YF-19, YS-19. I want to get better at like knowing the call numbers like I do with Gundam. The YF-19, the YF-19. I think we don't have a lot of other like story stuff to talk about. I feel like I covered most everything I wanted to say in the description. We've not like seen a lot of like far-reaching consequences of the plot right now. This is more the introductory kind of one. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I really appreciate you all being here. This has been a blast still so far. I feel like we're still sort of warming up to Alpha, even though we're like kind of halfway through it. Alpha is very different than I thought it was going to be. But it's like in my mind that we're thinking about like what the future looks like because we were talking about on stream like what we're doing later, and like Alpha Guide is still nowhere near ready to be addressed yet. Maybe all of Alpha is just the warm up. So thank you for sticking with me through this like really long, like what will probably end up being basically the whole year of Wednesdays and Fridays. There's still 79 of you that still seem to say you like it, so I'm glad. I'm really glad for that. We're one away from another milestone, and I am greatly anticipating seeing that number roll over every time I open up to post something. But that will do things for me. Thank you all so much for watching, regardless of what form this takes. I will see you at some point in the future. My schedule still remains unchanged. I guess it's worth saying maybe when you are watching this, if you are watching this as it premieres on a Wednesday, I will not be streaming the next Thursday. But that is just a one-off thing. I have a friend coming in out of town to visit, so I took that day off, but that's not like a normal, like that's not affecting my schedule. Nothing weird's going on there. Otherwise, my schedule is normal, with Wednesdays and Thursdays being W, Mondays being Overworld, and non-Alpha Fridays being Fantasy Maiden Wars. I think we're about to wrap up a like second sort of mini game in Fantasy Maiden Wars. So maybe you want to jump on the train when we like get started on one of the new projects, the new large game internally soon. Oh, actually, sorry, no, there was right. We also have to talk about book club. So this, regardless of how this is getting blocked out, we are still finishing Tekkaman Blade 2. I need to make a post about this still. Maybe when you are watching this, you have seen it. I do want to add the 2 OVAs that go between Tekkaman Blade 1 and 2, because they're 3 and 5 minutes, or like 5 and 8 minutes respectively, or something like that. They're really short. I thought they were long episodes, but they're really short. So I want to add those to the list too. But otherwise, Blade 2 is on the docket. If you didn't watch Blade 1 and you want to watch Blade 2, I think you can probably watch like the first 6 episodes of Blade 1. Even at that, like you probably don't need to watch 6. You could probably watch like 4. And that's enough context to make sense out of Blade 2. You don't even have to, like, you probably don't even have to watch it. It's the connectivity is pretty loose. Like, it in fact breaks some of the rules that were established in Blade 1. But if you heard my complaints about Blade 1 and are like, oh, I don't know, Blade 2 is so much different. It's so much different. It's so much better. But if that's not your speed, we're going to be doing Oregon in the upcoming week after this. And then that's going to be for 1 week. There's 3 1-hour movies, which is the same as 6 half-hour shows in my mind. And then after that, we're going to be doing Martian Successor Nadeshko and Prince of Darkness after that. So that's what my like book club schedule looks like going forward. And I would love to hear your thoughts about any of these things. Even if you end up watching this after the fact and it's months or years after we've recorded this, I do want to hear your thoughts about the shows we were watching at the time. Because I just think we need, like, I would like to have more plot discussion and like more analysis discussion. If we can move those to places that aren't necessarily one I want to be doing mechanical discussion, I think I am very pro that. But yes, again, sorry, I'm like a Shakespeare play, concluding myself like 3 or 4 times. But that is actually everything this time. I remembered it all. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. Make me the rest of your days. I'm going to go make myself some dinner, and I hope you have something tasty as a snack after watching this too. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.